Captain Aaron had faced the void of space more times than he could count, yet nothing in his 10 years of exploring star systems had prepared him for this moment. Epsilon 9 was supposed to be a barren planet, a rocky world with no recorded life. But the sensors on his ship had picked up something impossible, a life signal, unlike any human or known alien species. When the signal led him to a cliffside, he expected emptiness. Instead, she was there. The alien woman stood alone on the jagged rocks, bathed in the soft gold light of the planet's twin suns. Her skin shimmered like liquid crystal, reflecting colors that Aaron could not name. Even her movements seemed unearthly, graceful, and deliberate, almost like she was part of the planet itself. For a moment, Aaron froze. He had trained for first contact, but now he realized training could never prepare someone for awe. His heart pounded in his chest. He took a careful step forward, hands raised in the universal gesture of peace. The crew had told him to stay back to avoid startling her, but he could not resist the pull of curiosity. The alien's eyes, deep violet like pools of shifting energy, watched him. Aaron wondered how she would react. Would she flee, attack, or would she even understand him? "I come in peace," he said softly, hoping the tone mattered more than the words. I don't know if you understand me, but I want to learn. I want to understand you." The woman tilted her head slowly, as if considering him. Her skin rippled faintly with iridescent patterns, a language Aaron could not decipher. He felt a flicker of doubt. Maybe she was judging him, or perhaps deciding if he was safe. The minutes stretched, heavy and quiet, and Aaron felt the weight of isolation in space. Then she did something he did not expect. She lifted her hand, not human yet elegant, with long, delicate fingers that glowed faintly at the tips. She did not touch him, yet she held the gesture, inviting without demanding. Aaron mirrored her motion, his hand hovering close. A shimmer of energy leapt between their fingers, a spark neither fully understood. In that moment, Aaron felt something strange. Fear, wonder, and something else, a fragile sense of connection that seemed to bypass words. For the first time, he did not feel like a visitor in the galaxy. He felt seen. The alien's skin pulsed again in slow, rhythmic waves. Aaron instinctively recognized it as communication. It was not a language, not in any form he had learned, but it carried meaning. Emotion, perhaps. Acceptance, perhaps. He wanted to speak, to bridge the unknown, but words felt fragile here. What if he said the wrong thing? What if he ruined this delicate bond? "I want to know your world," he tried again, his voice softer now, almost reverent. "I want to understand you if you will allow me." The woman tilted her head, closed her eyes, and produced a soft hum. The sound was strange and beautiful, vibrating through the rocks and air. It was not human, not anything he had ever heard, but it carried warmth, curiosity, and a kind of gentle permission. Aaron felt his chest tighten, his heart leapt. She was responding, she was acknowledging him. For a long while, neither moved, neither spoke, yet communication flowed between them in the silent language of energy, color, and sound. Aaron imagined all the civilizations humanity had yet to meet, the friends and allies they could have if only they dared to reach out. And now, before him, stood proof that connection was possible. Finally, he dared to ask what had been on his mind since he first approached. I wonder, would you trust me?" The violet eyes opened wide, shimmering like the night sky, and for a moment, Aaron felt the weight of the universe itself in her gaze. Her reply, soft, unexpected, and full of emotion, would change everything he thought he knew about humanity, aliens, and the possibility of hope in the cold expanse of space. And he knew deep in his bones that whatever came next, nothing would ever be the same. Aaron's heart raced as he waited for her reply. The violet eyes studied him, shimmering like distant galaxies, and he felt as if the universe itself was holding its breath. Then slowly she stepped aside, her gesture simple yet powerful, an invitation. She was asking him to follow. Aaron hesitated. Every instinct told him to be careful. The planet's surface was unpredictable, the rocks sharp, the wind cold and biting. His crew monitored him from the ship, urging caution through comms, but he ignored the warnings. Something told him this moment mattered more than any protocol. He took a deep breath and moved forward. As he followed her, the landscape changed. Jagged cliffs gave way to smooth valleys filled with luminous plants that pulsed faintly in rhythm with the alien woman's movements. The colors were unlike anything Aaron had ever seen. Blues that seemed alive, purples that seemed to hum with sound. Each step brought him closer to understanding, yet deeper into the unknown. "You're guiding me," he said softly, unsure if she would hear him. "Are you safe?" She glanced back, her eyes almost amused, and made a sound, a gentle vibration that Aaron felt through the soles of his boots. It was neither language nor laughter, but it carried reassurance. He smiled despite the tension, feeling a fragile trust begin to build between them. Then suddenly the ground beneath them trembled, rocks shifted, and a deep rumble echoed across the valley. Aaron stumbled, reaching out instinctively for her, but she lifted a hand and emitted a sharp pulse of light. The tremor slowed, as if her presence could calm even the planet itself. Aaron stared, astonished. This being, fragile-looking, delicate, had a power that is understanding. "You're incredible," he whispered, awe thick in his voice. "Your species, your abilities, I can't even comprehend it." She stopped, turning to face him fully. Her expression was unreadable, yet her eyes seemed to pierce through him, not with judgment, but with curiosity. Aaron felt a warmth spread through his chest, a strange mix of admiration and humility. Here he was, a human so small in the cosmos, yet somehow worthy of being here, guided by a being of unimaginable grace. As they continued, Aaron noticed something else. She seemed to respond to him, not just to her environment. When he hesitated, she slowed. When he stepped forward confidently, she quickened her pace. It was subtle but unmistakable. She was teaching him, not through words, but through presence and movement. They reached a clearing where the plants glowed brighter, forming a natural amphitheater. The air shimmered with light, and Aaron felt a strange energy thrumming beneath his feet. He looked at her uncertain, and she extended both hands, palms upward, in an invitation he couldn't refuse. Aaron stepped forward, and as he did, the ground beneath him responded. Bioluminescent pathways lit up, guiding him toward her. Every nerve in his body screamed caution, yet every fiber of his being told him to trust. He wondered, had humans ever truly reached this level of connection with another species, or was this the beginning of something unprecedented? For a long moment they simply stood there, facing each other in silence. The alien's glow pulsed gently, and Aaron felt it synchronizing with his heartbeat. It was as if the planet, the woman, and he were all part of the same rhythm, the same moment in time. His breath caught, a mix of fear, excitement, and wonder. Finally, she tilted her head, her eyes locking with his, and let out a low, harmonic hum that seemed to echo through the valley. Aaron understood, not with his mind, but with his heart. She was inviting him into her world, not just physically, but emotionally. The unspoken message was clear. He could choose to step forward or step back. Aaron's mind raced, but his heart knew the answer. He took a steadying breath and nodded. I trust you," he said, his voice firm yet reverent. Her smile, or what he interpreted as one, lit her face with warmth. And in that instant, Aaron realized something that made his chest tighten. Humanity's greatest strength wasn't in their technology or weapons. It was in their courage, their willingness to reach out, even when they didn't know what response awaited them. And now, for the first time, he felt that courage returning something extraordinary. Aaron followed her deeper into the glowing valley, feeling the pulse of the planet beneath his feet. The light from the alien plants danced across his face, and he noticed how every color seemed to respond to her presence. It was mesmerizing and unsettling. He had walked many strange worlds before, but none felt alive in such a conscious way. The alien woman led him to a narrow bridge of stone spanning a deep chasm. A river of light ran far below, moving in currents that shimmered like liquid fire. The bridge looked fragile, almost impossible to cross, and Aaron felt a spike of fear. He paused. "Are you sure this is safe?" he asked. She did not answer in words. Instead, she placed a hand on her chest and then pointed toward him, urging him forward. Her glow intensified, bathing him in soft violet light. Aaron hesitated, the chasm below reminding him that one wrong step could mean disaster, but the trust that had begun to grow in him refused to let him turn back. Step by careful step, he crossed the bridge, feeling its surface shift under his weight. Every sound echoed in the vast valley, and every vibration seemed amplified. Halfway across, a tremor shook the bridge. Rocks loosened, and Aaron stumbled, heart racing. For a moment, panic surged, but she extended her hand toward him, not touching but guiding. Her light pulsed in a rhythmic pattern that matched his heartbeat, steadying his fear. He reached the other side, breathless and shaking. She watched him, her expression unreadable, yet he could feel pride in the rhythm of her glow. He had passed the first test, trust, and though the trial was simple, it mattered more than any starship mission he had ever commanded. "You guide me and I follow," he said softly, more to himself than her. I want to understand you even if it's dangerous." She tilted her head and made a sound, a low, resonant hum that vibrated through the ground. Aaron felt a wave of calm wash over him. He realized that for her, communication was more than words. It was movement, color, and emotion. He had to open himself completely to accept her world as it was, not as he expected it to be. They continued walking, and Aaron noticed the air changing. It thickened, shimmering with particles of light, and the plants began to bend toward them as if acknowledging their passage. Then came the unexpected. A sudden gust of wind slammed against him, carrying a strange scent like ozone mixed with flowers. Aaron stumbled, inhaling sharply. Before he could regain balance, the alien woman stepped forward and released a sudden pulse of energy from her palms. The wind stopped, the particles settled, and the valley returned to its calm glow. Aaron stared at her in awe. You can control this world," he said, voice trembling. "It's incredible, terrifying, and beautiful all at once." She let out a sound, a melodic vibration that seemed almost like laughter, and gestured for him to continue. Every challenge, every test was not meant to harm him, but to show him that understanding her world required more than courage. It required surrender. As they approached a crystalline cavern, Aaron felt a mix of excitement and dread. The entrance pulsed with light, casting long shadows that seemed to dance like living creatures. He stopped at the threshold. This is your home?" he asked. "All of this is alive." The alien woman nodded subtly. Then, to Aaron's surprise, she stepped aside and motioned for him to enter first. His pulse quickened. By allowing him to enter first, she was placing her trust in him, a reversal of roles he had never imagined. Humans had always sought to dominate new worlds, yet here was an alien showing that trust could exist in the opposite way. Aaron inhaled deeply, then stepped into the cavern. The walls glowed with shifting patterns, responding to his presence. Every movement he made sent ripples of light through the space, and he realized he had become part of the world itself. The alien woman followed, and for a brief, extraordinary moment, they moved as one, two beings from different species, united in cautious harmony. He wondered how she would truly react if he tried to speak, if he tried to explain himself. But before he could, she did something he never expected. She reached out, letting her fingers hover near his shoulder, not touching but close enough to create warmth. Aaron felt a shiver run through him. He realized that this was more than trust. This was the beginning of connection, of understanding that went beyond words. And yet, deep in his heart, he knew that the greatest test was still ahead. The alien woman's next action would determine if humanity had the courage to truly reach out, or if they would retreat in fear. The cavern's walls glowed softly as Aaron followed her deeper, the patterns of light shifting with every step he took. Each pulse of color felt like a heartbeat, not just of the planet, but of the alien woman herself. Aaron felt a strange mix of wonder and unease. The closer he got to her world, the more he realized how fragile their connection was. One wrong move, one misread gesture, and he could break the trust they had built. She led him to a wide chamber filled with floating orbs of light. They hovered silently, moving in slow, deliberate patterns. Aaron reached out instinctively, curious, but the moment his fingers brushed an orb, it darted away with a spark of energy. A jolt ran through him. The cavern's energy seemed to respond to him, but only when he acted carefully. He realized that understanding this world required patience, attention, and respect. Aaron looked at her. She stood still, her glow steady, as if silently observing his every reaction. I think I understand," he said softly. "I have to pay attention, not just act." His voice echoed oddly in the cavern, small and human in the midst of such grandeur. Then came the test he hadn't anticipated. A sudden surge of light filled the chamber, and the orbs began to swirl rapidly, creating a whirlwind of energy. Aaron stumbled backward, shielding his eyes. He realized too late that he had entered the chamber too quickly, disturbing the natural flow of the orbs. The alien woman's glow flared, intense and sharp. Aaron froze, fearing he had made a grave mistake. "Wait," he called softly. I didn't mean to." Before he could finish, A pulse of energy shot from one of the orbs, narrowly missing him. Aaron's heart raced. The woman raised her hands and the orb slowed, forming a protective circle around them. She did not speak, but he understood. The energy was a test, a lesson. He had to earn the right to move freely in her world to prove he could respect its rhythm and its rules. Aaron took a deep breath, steadying his nerves. He focused on the orbs, mimicking their movement in his mind, and slowly, deliberately, he began to step in sync with the rhythm. The woman's eyes seemed to follow every motion, her glow softening. Step by step, he learned the patterns, feeling the energy flow through him, and for the first time he felt part of her world rather than an intruder. As the orb settled, a soft, harmonic hum filled the chamber. Aaron realized it was her voice, her communication expressed as vibration and energy. He closed his eyes, letting the sound guide him. It was as if she was telling him that trust was more than courage. It was understanding, patience, and humility. Aaron opened his eyes and found her standing closer than before. She extended a hand, but this time there was no hesitation. Slowly, he reached out, allowing their fingers to hover together. A spark of warmth traveled through him, unlike anything he had felt in space or on Earth. He realized that this was not just connection, it was a bond forming across the boundaries of species. I want to learn more, he whispered. Not just your world, but you, how you think, how you feel. The alien woman tilted her head, then stepped back and gestured toward a narrow tunnel leading deeper into the cavern. Aaron hesitated. He felt a pang of fear. He had no idea what lay ahead, but he also felt the pull of curiosity. Trusting her meant stepping into the unknown, and for the first time, he understood the true meaning of courage. As he followed, he realized something profound. Humanity had always reached for the stars, seeking knowledge, conquest, or survival. But this was different. This was connection, raw and fragile. It required patience, empathy, and the willingness to risk everything for understanding. Aaron glanced at her, her violet eyes glowing softly, and he felt his chest tighten. He wondered how she would react to everything he had learned, everything he still had to offer. And in that instant, he understood that the greatest challenge was not surviving her world. It was proving that humanity could be worthy of trust, worthy of friendship, worthy of the bond they were forming. The path ahead was uncertain, dangerous, and full of mysteries. But for the first time, Aaron did not feel fear. He felt hope, and a determination that burned brighter than any star he had ever charted. Aaron followed her into the depths of the cavern, each step echoing softly against walls that glowed with living light. The air shimmered, carrying a subtle hum that seemed to resonate with his own heartbeat. Every instinct told him to stay alert, yet a strange calm filled him. The alien woman walked with certainty, her glow pulsing in a rhythm that seemed almost human. He wondered if she could sense his thoughts, his fears, or if this was simply her way of guiding him. As they reached a wide chamber, Aaron stopped, mesmerized. The entire room was filled with crystalline structures, some towering over him like pillars, others floating midair, casting refracted light in all directions. It was breathtaking, an alien cathedral of living crystals. He felt small, insignificant, and yet profoundly alive. This is incredible, he breathed, voice trembling. The alien woman moved closer to a massive crystal at the center. She placed her hands on it, and the crystal shimmered, sending waves of colored light through the chamber. Aaron stepped forward cautiously. The crystal's glow began to form shapes, images, memories, or perhaps thoughts. He saw visions of her world, oceans of light instead of water, forests that sang, cities that moved like tides. And then he saw her people, beings like her, their lives intertwined with the energy of the planet. Aaron felt a pang of awe. This was not just a planet. It was a living, breathing civilization, ancient and intelligent. And she was its guardian, its guide. He understood then why trust mattered so much. She had lived in harmony with this world for centuries, and here he was, a human, small and fragile, daring to step into her life. He swallowed hard and looked at her. I didn't realize everything is connected, he said softly. Your world, your people, and you. I feel honored to see this. The alien woman turned to him, her violet eyes shining. She did something unexpected. She stepped closer, letting her glow touch his. Aaron felt warmth flood his chest, not just from her light, but from the recognition of his respect. And then she did something that shocked him even more. She spoke. not with words he could understand, but with a series of melodic vibrations that resonated directly in his mind. Aaron staggered slightly, overwhelmed by the clarity of the communication. Images and emotions poured into him, her loneliness, her hope, her curiosity about humanity. She trusted him enough to share her world, her heart, and her fears. And in return, she asked a question, not with words, but with emotion. Could humanity be more than explorers? Could they be friends? Could they be worthy of trust? Aaron felt tears prick his eyes. He realized how much responsibility lay on him, on his people. Humans had often been careless, conquering without thought, taking without understanding. But here, in this glowing chamber, with a being more magnificent than any human imagination, he saw what humanity could be. He saw hope. I want to earn your trust," he whispered, voice breaking. "Not just for me, but for all of us. Humanity can be better. We can be worthy of this, worthy of you." The alien woman studied him, her glow pulsing slowly, deliberately. And then, in a gesture so subtle yet powerful, she touched the edge of his hand, not fully but close enough that he felt the connection. A spark of energy passed between them, and Aaron understood. She believed in him. She believed that humanity could rise to meet her world with respect, empathy, and courage. For the first time in his life, Aaron felt the true weight of connection, not as a mission, not as a duty, but as a bridge between species. His chest tightened with emotion. He realized that in the vastness of space, trust was more precious than knowledge, courage more important than weapons, and empathy more powerful than any technology. The alien woman pulled back slightly, her glow softening, yet her eyes remained locked on his. She had given him a gift that could not be measured, a glimpse into her soul, a chance to prove that humanity could be more than what he had always believed. And Aaron knew with absolute certainty that he would not waste it. The chamber shimmered around them, alive and watchful. And in that moment, Aaron understood something deeper than he had ever known. The galaxy was full of wonders, but the greatest wonder of all was the trust of another being, alien, magnificent, and infinitely wise. Aaron felt a strange mixture of awe and fear as he stood in the glowing chamber. The alien woman's presence filled the space like living light, and he realized how small he was in comparison. But more than that, he felt the weight of responsibility pressing on him. She had shared her world, her trust, and her hopes, and now he had to respond in a way that honored all of that. They walked together through the cavern, the light shifting as if it breathed around them. Aaron noticed patterns forming in the crystals, like a language he couldn't read, but he understood their meaning through emotion. The alien woman was showing him the flow of life in her world, teaching him that understanding was more than observation. It required empathy, presence, and respect. As they entered a chamber filled with floating orbs of memory, Aaron felt a sudden surge of emotion. The orbs reflected his own thoughts, fears, and dreams back at him. He saw Earth, humanity struggling, and himself, small, fragile, yet determined. Then an orb revealed something unexpected, his longing for connection, for meaning beyond exploration. It mirrored his deepest desire, the one he had never spoken aloud. He glanced at the alien woman. She was watching him, her glow soft and steady. For a moment, Aaron wondered how she truly saw him. Did she see a human explorer, fragile and flawed? Or did she see something more, potential, courage, a soul willing to reach across the stars? His heart tightened at the thought. He had never asked for companionship in the vast emptiness of space, yet here he felt it offered in the form, trust. I wonder," he said slowly, voice barely above a whisper. "How much of this can you share? How much of yourself can you let me see?" The alien woman tilted her head, her violet eyes glowing brighter. Then she stepped closer, letting her hand hover near his, not touching but creating warmth. It was a gesture of openness, a bridge of vulnerability. Aaron felt a shiver run through him. In that moment, he realized the true magnitude of what she was offering. It was not just her world she trusted him with, it was herself. A pang of doubt struck him. He was human, and humans had failed before. Could he honor her trust? Could humanity prove worthy of the gift she was giving? The cavern seemed to pulse in response to his uncertainty, as if the planet itself was questioning him. Aaron clenched his fists, fighting the fear and rising pressure. He could not fail, not now, not after all they had shared. Then the alien woman did something entirely unexpected. She moved closer, letting her glow surround him, and transmitted a series of melodic vibrations that he felt deep in his chest. The sensation was intimate, almost overwhelming. It was a question, an invitation, and a challenge all at once. Could he open himself fully, not just as a human, but as someone willing to understand, to accept, and to connect without reservation? Aaron swallowed hard, his mind racing. Words felt fragile here, inadequate for the weight of emotion between them, but he tried. I will try, he said, voice trembling. I want to learn to understand, to be worthy of your trust. The alien woman paused, her glow softening, and then, slowly, deliberately, she extended her hand fully. This time, Aaron reached out without hesitation. Their fingertips met, and a rush of warmth, light, and energy flowed between them. It was not just physical, it was emotional, spiritual. He felt her curiosity, her hope, and her cautious joy. And in that instant, he realized that humanity's greatest strength was not technology or courage, but empathy, the ability to feel, to connect, and to honor another being's trust. Aaron closed his eyes, letting the warmth wash over him. The cavern, the lights, the alien woman, all faded into a sense of unity. He understood then that trust was fragile, rare, and infinitely precious. And he vowed, silently but firmly, that he would protect it, nurture it, and never take it for granted. And as they stood there, hand in hand, Aaron knew one undeniable truth. The universe could be full of danger, mystery, and wonder. But the most powerful force of all was the bond between two beings willing to trust each other completely. Aaron stood in the heart of the cavern, the alien woman beside him, their hands still almost touching, glowing with a quiet energy that felt alive. Every crystal around them pulsed in rhythm with their hearts, and he felt something profound, something beyond fear, beyond curiosity, beyond exploration. He felt connection. He had faced the unknown countless times in space, yet this moment was unlike anything he had ever experienced. She turned to him, her violet eyes reflecting the shimmering light of the cavern. Aaron wondered what she was thinking, judging him, questioning him, or simply observing the fragile human heart she had chosen to accept. He realized that in the silence between them, words were unnecessary. Their bond was formed through trust, empathy, and courage, the universal language that transcended species. A sudden vibration ran through the cavern, low and deep, almost like a heartbeat from the planet itself. The alien woman reacted instantly, her glow intensifying as she reached out, brushing her hand near his shoulder. The energy between them shifted, brighter, warmer, alive. Aaron felt it ripple through him, a fusion of understanding and emotion, a language of pure presence. You've allowed me to see your world, he said softly. Your people, your life, and yourself. I don't know if humans have ever been trusted like this before. The alien woman tilted her head, her glow dimming slightly in a gesture that felt like acknowledgement, even pride. She stepped back, creating space between them, and yet the energy of her being remained entwined with his. Aaron realized that she was giving him a choice, the choice to leave, to return to the familiar safety of his ship, or to stay and embrace something extraordinary. His heart surged. Leaving meant safety, a return to what he knew. Staying meant risking everything, his pride, his fear, even his life, to honor a trust that was fragile and immense. Yet for the first time, he understood what courage truly meant. It was not the absence of fear, but the decision to act despite it. I choose to stay, he said firmly, his voice echoing in the cavern. Not because I have to, but because I want to. I want to honor your trust, and I want to learn. I want to be part of this. Her glow brightened suddenly, radiating a warmth that enveloped him. Aaron felt tears prick his eyes, not of fear, but of overwhelming emotion. The alien woman's presence was no longer just awe-inspiring. It was comforting, grounding, and profound. For the first time in his life, he felt entirely understood, entirely seen, and entirely capable of giving back the same trust she had given him. The crystals around them shifted, forming patterns that pulsed with their combined energy. Aaron realized that the planet itself was responding, recognizing the harmony they had created. This was not merely a connection between two beings. It was a bridge between species, a testament to the possibilities of understanding, respect, and courage. She stepped closer, their hands meeting fully this time, fingertips glowing in a spark of shared energy. Aaron felt the flow of her world, not as a visitor, but as someone accepted, trusted, and valued. He understood then that humanity's true strength was not in conquest or knowledge, but in empathy, in the willingness to reach across the unknown and meet another being with heart and respect. "I thank you," he whispered, voice breaking with emotion, "for trusting me, for showing me everything." The alien woman responded with a soft, harmonic vibration, felt more than heard, resonating deep in his chest. It carried acceptance, connection, and the unspoken promise of a future filled with learning, friendship, and wonder. Aaron knew that he could never forget this moment, that humanity had been given a rare gift, and it was up to them to honor it. And as he stood there, hand in hand with the alien woman in the glowing heart of a living world, Aaron understood the truth of the universe. The greatest discoveries were not of planets or stars, but of hearts willing to trust, to reach out, and to connect. Above them, the cavern shimmered like 1,000 suns, and Aaron smiled. He had come seeking knowledge, but he had found something far more precious. A bond beyond species, a bridge across the stars, and a hope for humanity that was brighter than any light he had ever seen.